In this video, we're going to show you a technique that will allow you to capture long cycles very rapidly in Video Timer Pro. For our purposes here, we're going to imagine working with a trailer arriving at a dock and the process it might go through. Now, we do not have that video. That would be a very lengthy video in terms of the arrival, the backing up and the unloading of the trailer and so forth. What we're going to do is ask you to imagine that this is the video here. And instead of working, right now we are working in seconds here for the video purposes, but you would normally probably be working in minutes in this kind of situation. But we'll just imagine that we're working in minutes here. And you can see what we've already done. We've got an observation here for opening the dock door, helping the driver back up, and then opening the trailer door. Now let's imagine that the next activity is going to be unload the trailer, which could take quite some time. What we're going to do is show you a technique to let you quickly capture that time. As it stands right now, you've got two options to record the video. You hit the start button here, and you can watch the video until it reaches the end point, and then you would hit the stop button. Alternatively, you might also speed up the video if you've got a longer cycle, but you still have to watch the video the entire way. What we want to do is give you a technique that allows you to capture long activities without having to sit and watch the video. And to do that, what we're going to do is we're going to use this little drop down at the top here. This is the increment for our fine video adjustment slider. Now what I mean by that is we have two sliders available to us on the screen here. If I restart this again all the way to the beginning, this is called the coarse video adjustment. This is above the video, and this lets you basically slide your way all the way through the video, back and forward as you wish. Now there is another slider down at the bottom here. This is called the fine video adjustment. I'm going to show you how this works here. You can see if I click on the drop down here, these are increments here. These are in seconds here, these increments. So if I was to select the value, let's say the value of 3 right here, and I'm now going to play the video. So I hit the start button and the video is going to play. And what I'm going to do is show you how this value here affects the fine video adjustment. So if I stop it right now, I can scroll down to the bottom here. And you see my fine video adjustment now has values here. And look at those values, 22.727 to 28.727. What do those mean? Well, if you look at the current stop point of the video, it's currently at 25.727. So what the values are down at the bottom here in the fine video adjustment tool are the current stop point plus or minus the value you selected from the drop down here in seconds. So in other words, if I come down here now, since I'm working in seconds, my current stop point is 25.727 plus or minus, I selected the value of 3, and you can see down here my values for the fine video adjustment are 22.727 to 28.727. So it's the current stop point plus or minus the value I select from here. Now you can change that. I could change it to 4, for instance. And if I come down here, you'll see it now goes to 21.727 to 27.727. However, you notice my start time here is 19. So if I go to a value above, let's say I go to the value of 10, if I come down here, my value goes to 19. It can't go any further back than the original start point, but it will go 10 forward. So this is actually giving you a little slider here that you can use as a fine video adjustment to find the exact point in the video. Almost frame by frame you can move it down here. Whereas up at the top here in the coarse video adjustment, it's jumping around showing you the whole video. But wherever you go down here, you're going to have this option here to let you slide and almost go frame by frame so you can find exactly the end point of an activity. So let's look at how we would apply this then. I'm going to reset this back to the value of 1 here. So remember please, if you're working on, let's say, an hour job, you'd probably set the value here to maybe 30 seconds here. But for my purposes, since I'm just emulating what's happening here, I'm going to set it to the value of 3 right here. So you can see we've already recorded the time to open the dock door, help the driver back up, and open the trailer door. And now we're ready to record the next activity. If we're not at the end of opening the trailer door, we have a little technique that allows you to very quickly get there. Just bring up this little pop-up here. And here you can see I have how to move quickly to the end of an activity. Double click on the activity to play the video, and then click the end button at the very left of the ribbon to move to the end of that clip. So let's imagine this open trailer door. That might take 5 minutes, let's say, by the time everything is done and set up here. I can double click and play the video. Now you don't have to sit there 5 minutes to let it get to the end here. As it says in the note here, you're going to double click on the activity. So I'm going to double click on this and then click the end button. Now there is no end button here, but you'll notice when I do a double click here, the restart button at the far left here will change to the end button. So let's just look at that right now. So I double click on it here and you see the end button right there. That's what we're talking about when we show you this note here. Click the end button. So imagine this is a 5-minute long video clip here. So what you would do is you double click on this, it would start to play, come up here, click the end button, and it will go right to the end of that particular video clip. So you don't have to sit there and watch the entire video. So again, I'll repeat that. I'll just show you the note again here. Double click on the activity to play the video right here, and then click the end button. When this is double clicked, the restart here will change to end. You click on that and it will move right to the end of that particular video clip here. So I minimize this, I double click, watch the restart at the top left. I double click now, it goes to end. I hit the end button, it takes me right to that particular point in the video. Now we are ready to start the recording of the next activity. Let's imagine the next activity is unload truck, and that might take, let's say, 15 minutes or something. You don't want to sit here and watch the video for 15 minutes. That's a waste of your time. You know what you're looking for, the unloading the truck. Another example might be, we've got some people recording like queues. A person arrives in the queue and it might take them 5 minutes to get to the front of the queue, and you want to record the average queue time. You don't want to sit there recording everyone individually. This is a technique that would let you do this type of thing. So right now you can see my stop point is 10.883. That is the end point over here for the open trailer door right here. And I'm going to bring up another pop-up here to show you what happens. Okay, this is a description of the process to record a long activity. So I'm going to click the start button. So let's move up here so we can see it better. So we're going to click the start button right here, the green one. Right, when I do that, what's going to happen is this continue button that is currently grayed out, that is automatically and immediately going to change to pause. And then I'm going to click the pause button. So just do the first 2 steps here so we can see this on the screen at the same time. I'm going to make my screen a little smaller here. Okay, so now I have my screen set up so I can see my video analysis up the top as well as the notes here. So the first thing you do is click the start button. The start button will change to stop. And also what will happen here, the continue button next to it here is going to activate, but it's going to come up with the caption of pause, right? So I hit the start button here and you see it changes to stop, and then the pause button appears here. So then I'm going to click the pause button. Click the pause button. I'm looking at point number 3 here. Use the course video adjustment slider above the video window to move to the approximate end of the point of the activity. Notice my elapsed time here is 6.842. I can grab this slider and just drag it to the right here. This is giving me my approximate endpoint. And then point number 4, use the find video adjustment slider below the video window to move to the exact point. So maybe I'm not quite at the right point here. I can use this one just to get me back to exactly the right point. I enter the description up here. My description could be unload truck. And then I hit the save button, click the save button here, and it adds it down here as an observation. So what I've done is, this was in minutes. I've just recorded in this example a 20-minute activity literally in a few seconds. So this can save you a huge amount of time. So what I'm going to do is delete this one so we can go through that process again, then we'll show you it full size. I'm going to take out that one. And now what I'm going to do is go back to the end of the open trailer. So again, I double click here and I hit the end button at the top left. That's what we talked about earlier in the video here. So now I'm right at the end point here, and now I'm ready to start. So I'm going to click the start button, and the start button will change to stop. The continue button here will also change to pause, and then I'm going to go over and hit the pause button. So I click the start button, goes to stop, hit the pause appears, click the pause to stop the video. And then I use the course video adjustment slider above the video window to move to the approximate end of the clip. So I'm watching the video, I just use this. Now notice I can slide back and forward here as I wish to find the exact point. So there's plenty of time, there's no rush to do this. You find the approximate point, and then I'm going to use the find video adjustment video slider below the video window to move to the exact point. So I'm not quite there, I can use this one down here. Remember, it's giving me the range, the plus or minus, so however many seconds are up here. So I'm essentially moving more or less frame by frame here to find the exact point. Let's imagine it's right there. I enter the description. I've already used it, so I'll just click on the unload truck here. It puts it up here. and then I click the save button to put it into my study. I've just recorded it here as an observation. So let's look at that again in full size here. Okay, so the first thing is I want to get to the end of the last activity. In this case, it's opening the trailer door. I double click on it to play it, and I click the end button, and that will take me immediately to the end of that. So if that was a 5-minute clip, you go right to the end of the 5-minute clip. Now we're ready to start the recording of the unloading the truck. I'm going to hit the start button. This will change to stop. The continue button here will change to pause. So I hit the start button, changes to stop. This changes to pause. I click the pause. Now I use the course video adjustment at the top here to find the approximate end of that particular activity. So this might be any amount of time. Let's imagine it's 22 minutes here. And then I come down here to the fine video adjustment. It's the stop time plus or minus this a number of seconds here. And I can move back and forward here to find the exact frame of where that activity ends. And then I come up here, I change the description up at the top here to unload truck. And I hit the save button. So I hope you see using this technique you can capture very, very long pieces of video very, very rapidly without having to sit there and watch them in real time or even using the fast forward. Just use the sliders here to find the exact point and record your activities.